Okay, so let's start modeling a base mesh in 3ds Max. So what I did was I just maximized the front view by pressing Alt W here, right? Okay, but before we do that, let's switch to the perspective view. I can press G to turn on and off the grid, and then I will just go here in my create, and then I'll choose the box. I'll just click and drag anywhere, click and drag, and then release the mouse and drag forward. There, stop, click by stopping it, stop by clicking it, right click to exit, W for the move tool, and then I will just type in here 0 0 0. So now it is at the center of the 3D space. Okay, so now what I will do next is I will go to the front view. Okay, and then I will go to the modify panel. In the modify panel, I will name this base mesh. This is going to be the character base mesh for all, so I just need to properly count it. And don't worry about the measurements, but if you would like to start with a proper measurement, alright, let's go for a simple 50 50 50 in all of our dimensions there. Okay, so 50 50 50, that's the dimension. Okay, so next is what I will do is I will just go to my modifier list. I'll type in edit poly. So after I've typed EDI, I choose edit poly. Now I can go to the perspective view, right click there, Alt W, and then now I have this. Next is I'll just go to my polygon selection, press Q and select the top polygon. Please remember, you are still or you should be knowing where your front view is. Okay, next I'll zoom out by a scroll a bit, and then I will just right click and I will choose extrude. So let's say I will extrude for the body. So this is going to be the pelvis, that's the start, and so I will add an amount of 50. Press enter. There it is. So this is going to be, let's say, the stomach or abdomen, and then I will just press another plus there. So this is going to be, let's say, the ribs, and then the chest. That's it. And then let's say I want something for the traps. Start with the neck, and then I want, that's the neck already, and then I want the lower jaw or the lower part of the face, which is the jaw, and then the cranial part. Then press check to finally start. So those are our extrusions. So how many do we have? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's just fine. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is start to shape this up. So what I will do is I'll go to my vertex selection, and then I'll go to my front view for now. So since this is going to be the pelvic area, I want this bottom part to be narrowed. So I can press R, scale it along the horizontal axis there. So that's going to be the pelvic part. And then let's say this is going to be, let's just subdivide it, or let's check it. This is the abdominal area, this is the rib cage area, this is going to be the upper rib cage, or this is rib cage, then chest, and then this is, let's say, what we plan to be the shoulder area where the neck's going to be coming out. So I'll just select all of that there to narrow it down. W for move, oops, sorry, and then I'll just move this. So that's where the shoulder area, that will bring out the neck. So that's the neck area. I'll just drag this guys a bit down there, and then I'll just drag this down here a bit, and then just once more. So that's your cranial area. This is the cranial area, and then this is the jaw, and then this is the neck. Okay, and the next thing is I want to narrow this a bit more, pressing R, and then I'll scale it also along the x-axis, and then I will bring out some extra polygons for the face here. So what I will do is I will just select on the side here. I'll select this, and then this there, and then on that I will just do another right click and choose the extrude settings. Okay, that's too thick. I just need, let's say, an amount of 10 for the extrusion there. Pressing check. So let's say that is going to be for the side of the face or the head. Okay, so next thing is I will need to divide this into two or a half. So what I will do is I can go to my edge selection here. I can go to my edge or horizontal edge, any of the horizontal edges here, and then I can just choose ring, and it will go around, right? And then I can just right click that, and then I can just do connect. So it's now connected. Pressing check. So now I can select again the polygon selection here, so that I can select this half, right? I can select that half and just delete there. So after I have deleted, so there they are. Okay, so the next thing is I can turn this off. So let's say I'll right click and rename this to be the body head. Okay, so this is the polygon or edit poly that has the body and the head modification. Alright, so next thing is I will create the legs. So I will just turn off any selection. I'll switch to the modifier list, and then I'll do an edit poly once more. Right, place it on the top stack there. So that means if I make any mistakes here, I can easily delete it. Okay, so now I'll just go once more here to the polygon selection. I'll select these. This time I will just simply press W, hold shift, and drag it down. So now I am extruding out the leg part. I can slightly on the x-axis, I can drag that a little to angle it out like that. And then you can also press G to turn off the grid. If this part is confusing you, press G to turn off the grid there. Now I can press R, that's the scale tool, and along the Z axis, that one, right, that blue axis there, I'll just drag downwards directly so that it will be going to the front view. Here it will be flattened. Z, zoom selected, so now it is flat, and then I can drag along the x-axis to widen that. W to move it a little bit there. So now that's what I have, right? So the next thing to do is simply continue my extrusions, right? So let me just drag this a little bit higher there. Okay, so let's say that's your upper leg, and then I will just right click and do another extrude settings here, and let's say I just want 25 or 10. I just want 10. So this is, oh no, 10 is too much. 25 there. So 25, that's half. So this is the upper leg, the hita, so to speak. So this allows me to twist it, that extra polygon there. So next is I will just add 3 more for the knee. But for the knee, I want to add an amount of 10 only. So, oops, sorry. This one is okay already. The 25 just changed. So I'll just press check first. And then right click, I'll do another extrude. This time I'll change this to 10. Press enter. So there. But I want this 3 times. So that's plus and plus. So I want 3 extrusions for the knee. Okay. So then another. Press check. I'll change the value. Still right click, do another extrude settings. This time I'll set it back to 25. So this time this is for the lower leg, but I want it also divided into 2 there. So that's 1, 2 for the top leg, 3 for the knees, 2 for the what do you call this, for the lower leg. So that's total of 7, and then 1 more, 8 there. Oops, that's too big. Press check, right click, extrude. I'll change the value to, let's have another 15 this time. Check there. So this is what going to be for the foot. Okay, so now that's what we have. Okay, so the next thing is I'll go to the side, or at least here at the angled view, the perspective, because I need the front also to be extruded here. I need this to be extruded, and then I'll just right click, extrude. I need it to be extruded, let's say also 25, and then I need it 2 times extruded, so that it's going to be for the foot. Press check, so that's for the foot. So now I'll just rename this legs underscore foot. We have that. And then one last is for the shoulder here, right? So I can select that. I turned off the selection, sorry. And then I'll go add a new edit poly, so that if ever I made a mistake here, I can easily delete that. There's no need to undo too much. And then I can go to my polygon selection. Now I can select this. I can press W and shift click drag, or I can simply right click and extrude. Let's say, let's use another 25 for the value, or 50 there. Press check. Okay, so what I'll do here is I'll raise this up, because this is actually the shoulder. Okay, so this is the shoulder part. I can press E and rotate it a little bit. A for angle snap. Let's say I'll rotate that around 15 degrees a little, and then I'm fine with that. Now the arm is going to come up under here. Okay, so here. So I'll select that. After I've selected that, I will just right click here. Once more, do another extrude. So this is shoulder part, and then let's say this is going to be our half of the bicep. So I'll make that 25, and let's say another half of the bicep. That's going to be for the upper arm. okay, but yeah, that's okay. Pressing check, because you've guessed it, the elbow is going to have also the same 3 extrusions, because it's going to be bending or animated, so it will need those extra edges. So I'll set that to 10, and then I'll set it to 3, or plus 2 more. Press check. Now I'll go back to 25, extrude, set this to 25. So this is going to be the forearm. Also, it is twisting, so I want that. And I will just set another 25. Now that's for the hand. Press check. So now what you have here is, I'll rename this arms hand. That's it. I'll turn off the selection. I'll save my work. Oh no, before I save my work, let me position this properly. I'll press W for move tool. Oops, let's bring that up. W for move tool, and then I will be raising it up and then dragging it down here, there, so that it will be on the ground. If you cannot drag it on the ground precisely, here is a simple trick. You can go back here to the polygon, or sorry, to the vertex selection, and then just select those vertices, 0. Just put 0 on the z-axis, and they will be standing firm on that. Now that's fine. So now we have this half body poly, right? Ready for our model tracing. Now I'll just save this file, saving the scene in my desktop project folder. Let's say here, this is going to be my 02 base. So now I have my base mesh. I am ready for the tracing. I'll see you on that lesson.